I'm a part of many distinct discourse communities. From my hometown of St. Louis, my friend groups, family, and to the sports teams I played on. As I reflect upon each of these groups, one sticks out, the St. Louis Priory Wrastlin team. I've played in a lot of different sports teams, but wrestling and wrestlers are a bit different than the rest. Wrestling around with 25 other sweaty guys, 6 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day, brought us closer as a team and as a family than any other sport that I've played. While most people think that wrestling is a simple and maybe violent sport, it's actually very technical and precise. The number of wrestling moves possible are only limited by how imaginative the wrestler is, as there are millions of combinations and modifications. Since there are so many, I assume it got harder and harder to find normal names like headlock, crossface, or ankle pick. So they started naming moves things like banana split, whizzer, cow catcher, or gator roll. Lots of wrestling lingo like that is weird, but it makes it sort of an exclusive language that is only familiar to those who know about the sport. The word my team used the most was toad. The word toad is generally used to describe someone who isn't very good at wrestling, makes a mistake, or looks like, well, a toad. This word was important to us because it was ours. Nobody else in our school called people toad. More importantly, nobody else understood what and why the word toad was important to us. Every year, a group of freshmen would stroll into practice and in 4 short months end their season with not only an extremely close new group of friends, but understanding what it means to be a toad. I remember nervously walking down the stairs into the windowless basement wrestling room at my school for the first time. Unfortunately, I had to take a test and came late, so when I opened the squeaky door, all eyes were on me. I tried to ignore the people looking at me as I sat down, quickly tied my shoes, and joined the 4 other freshmen who were now nearly done warming up. I didn't know many people on the team, and we were freshmen, and we knew we didn't fit in. While we were stretching, the upperclassmen were cracking jokes about last season and using a lot of words and phrases I didn't understand. One of them was toad. In fact, that first week of practice, I learned many weird expressions, traditions, and names for wrestling moves. By the end of the season, I even received the nickname Buzz because apparently when I shaved my head, I looked like Buzz Lightyear. I learned not to cuss, to take a shower immediately after practice, not when I got home, and to be on time because doing any of those things resulted in 100 push-ups or a 6-minute match of conditioning for the entire team. I also learned the hard way not to ask what weird-sounding wrestling moves like the banana split or spladle were, because then they'd be demonstrated on you whether you wanted to or not. One of the first words I kept hearing over and over that week was toad. While I already knew that a toad is a frog that didn't go into the water, people were using it in sentences like, "Stop being such a toad, Buzz," or "Damn, these freshmen are almost as toady as those pring kids." Or my coach would even say, "Elliot, after you take a shot, stop being a toad, turn the corner, finish your takedown, and get your 2. As the season progressed, I came to understand that in the minds of wrestlers on the St. Louis Priory team, a toad was basically defined as a slow-moving, bad wrestler who usually, but not always, moved around the mat awkwardly. While we used toad mostly as an insult, it was important to us not just because we liked insulting people. It was really important to us because it was our word. For example, one of my best friends and wrestling team co-captain, Taylor, posted on my wall when I decided to go to Texas Christian University, "Elliot was always a toad. At least he found a place where he can fit in. Horned frog, toad, close enough. Haha, love you, congrats." As I thought about this assignment and the word toad, I realized it is really no surprise that the only people that liked the comment were people on the wrestling team. I asked my roommate if he understood what the post meant, and he had no idea, and with a confused expression told me I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. It was exactly the answer I expected, because the word toad to somebody outside the St. Louis Priory wrestling team is just an animal similar to our horned frog mascot. To us, the word toad carries more weight and has more meaning than 4 letters, a word, or a definition. It is important to me and my Wrastlin family because it reminds us of the countless hours of hard work, pain, and sweat we put into practices, and the unbreakable bond we have because of it. At the end of the day, we've all been toads. We've made mistakes, lost matches, and done stupid things. But we've always had each other's backs and been bonded by that 4-letter word, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.